I'm going to be singing some songs out of my journal today. So good, it's all that you can be. Yes, you're so good, and it's all you want from me. You are all things good, you are here to stay. Even when it's dark, I know that you will find your way. You are all things good, never far away. When I feel alone, I know you're right here with me. Here for good, always on my side. I could take a left to know you would make it right. So good, I deny what disagrees, turn with adoration to the love that sets me free. When my faith won't match my circumstances, I know you hold my answers. When my plans fall through, I'll call back to you. 'Cause you're so good. Yes, you're so good. So good. It's all that you can be. Yes, you're so good, and it's all you want from me. You are all things good, you are here to stay. Even when it's dark, I know you will find a way. You are all things good, never far away. When I feel alone, I know you're right here with me. Here for good, always on my side. I could take a left to know that you will make it right. So good, I'll deny what disagrees and turn with adoration to the love that sets me free. My faith won't match my circumstances, I know you hold my answers. When my plans fall through, I'll call back to you. 'Cause you're so good, so good. You're so good, you're so good.
Good morning, Unity family.
Good morning.
My name is Najiy, and I will be doing meditation today. But first, I want to do something else with everybody involved. As many of you know, this is Black History Month, and many of us share the ancestry with Africans. All of us, not many of us, all of us have African descendants. We are descendants from Africa. Okay, so I'm going to do a dance for you. And dance is prayer for me. Dance is prayer. And I want the musicians to participate. When you hear the music, I want the musicians, I want everybody to clap. So this is all of us involved. Because let me tell you what happened first. I woke up this morning after meditation, and the ancestor said, do this. Okay? So I was a little bit nervous about it, but ancestors said, do it, because I am a dancer. And so I said, well, okay, I'm going to honor this. It's Black History Month, African American History Month, all about History Month. So I'm going to play, when you hear the beat, samba. Thank you. So now, let's go within. Take some deep breaths. More breaths. Breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Let's just give thanks and praise for this moment. Because this moment is all that we have. This moment. Get to tomorrow, we'll be in the now moment. Let's put our feet flat on the floor. Close our eyes. Go within. All praises due to the Most High. All praises due to the God within each of us. Recognizing that there's one power, one presence that is always giving of itself, omniscient, omnipresent, omniactive, omnipotent. There's one power that we call God, we call Allah, we call the Atman, presence of great and Holy Spirit. We call from it because it is the only place, only space, only energy, only vibration that we can go that is the real, that is who and what we are. Prayer. When we say thank you is a prayer. Dance is a prayer. Singing is a prayer. We go out into nature, we see that it's prayer, prayer, prayer. So we just allow this divine energy, vibration that is truly our real nature to express itself fully now. And bring your attention to the breath. Focus on the breath. Know that we are the light. And when we shine our light brightly, everyone around us can feel and see and benefit from our light. Then their light can shine brighter. So we evoke the law of luminosity. Perfect health and wellness. Blessing every cell in our body temple, every molecule, every atom, every organ, the functioning of our body temple. knowing that if there's any dis-ease, allow it to just be gone, because it does not belong. We call forth perfect health and wellness. Physical health, emotional health, mental health. We call it forth now. Put a smile on your face, showing that all is well, because all is truly well. The universe is supporting us in all of our good. Just know that you're being divinely supported right where you are all the time. Live a life full of love, a heart full of love. You don't have to tell a person you love them. You can just be the love. And the vibrational frequency will be so powerful, they can feel it. And as a result of them feeling it, then they carry it on to someone else, carrying the love, carrying the peace, the joy, the harmony, the order, well-being. As you all well know, this earth is fine, but what's happening with our world, the people, it's a lack of love. We are here to shine our love, our light brightly, loving, joyfully, peacefully. Let's be it. Let's wake everyone up by being awake ourselves. Be awake, brothers and sisters. The world's in need of your love, of your peace, your joy, your freedom, free for self-expression. Self-expression. Let's be that. Let's allow it. Take a few moments, just go within in the silence. In the silence. And from the thoughts that you have, whatever thoughts you have, ask divine frequency, vibration frequency, take you higher in that. If it's thoughts of love, higher. Go higher in your love vibration. If it's peace that comes to mind, higher in your peace. But whatever it is, that's the God qualities. Allow yourself to be taken higher in it as it God's good. God's who we are. God gets to dance as us. He gets to sing as us and through us. He gets to pray as us. If you have full expression in and as each of us. So as we bring our attention back to this visual space, I take this moment to know that as our beloved brother comes forward to teach, then we know that God is teaching as him, through him. And that's how he's able to just be the brilliant brother that he is. God is moving. It's God speaking. When you hear him speak, know that God is speaking through our beloved minister. It's God speaking. Yes. And I bless the musicians and all the volunteers. Blessing you. And thank you so much. And so it is. So it ought to be. Ashe, amen. Let's wake everybody up. Let's wake up, brothers and sisters.
Good morning, everybody.
Rise up, fellow present.
If you will, take a few moments to rest in that meditation. Allow yourselves to settle, knowing that where you are, God is, and all is well. Happy Sunday, happy Sunday. Allow yourselves to rest and settle. If you need to, close your eyes just for a second, or keep your eyes open and allow your gaze to softly fall and rest on the floor. Knowing that where you are, God is, and all is well. And for the things in our life that aren't well, they are coming into wholeness. They are coming into wellness. For the things in our life that break down, they are becoming the seeds of a new future and a new possibility. So everything in your life, the good, the bad, the ugly, the ups and the downs, they're all moving and progressing towards wholeness and wellness. So everything is going to bless you. Everything is for your good. Know in this sacred space that all things work together for your good. The things you understand, the things you don't understand, it all works together for your good. For greater is He that is in you than he that moves about in the world. In this sacred time together, take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, release the divine sound of letting it all go. Knowing that the greater you has it all under control and is revealing the answers to you every day in every way. And so it is. And so it is. If you will, let's send this energy out to those that are watching online. If you will, point at the camera, say this with me: divine love in us blesses and multiplies all that you have, all that you are, and all that you receive. Know in this moment you are loved, and so it is. Our ministry is supported by partners like you. Remember to log on to unitybham.org and click on giving. Moderators are standing by, so if you do have a prayer request, please post your comment in the chat box wherever you see this message, either on our website, Facebook, or YouTube, and we will hold your request in prayer. And if you are in the house and you are in need of prayer, we do have our prayer chaplains here. Put your hands together for Mother Sharon. And Sister Karina and Mother Joan are probably online looking at your prayer requests as well. So we do want to give honor to those that are here in our prayer chaplains, because prayer is the foundation of all spiritual practices. Yes, doesn't matter your specific tradition or your specific spiritual practice, but that prayer, it's the foundation of it. And without support, because and this is going to sound very fundamentalist, but to pray to a deity that you can't see and overlook the people that you can see is kind of like you miss the whole purpose of the prayer. Prayer isn't just about communing with what you can't see. It really is connecting with everything, because both the unseen and the seen are real. So prayer becomes powerful not just when it's just you having a conversation with God, but imagine how powerful your prayer experience can be when your prayer experience is supported and facilitated by another human being like you. So my point is, it is a blessing to have prayer chaplains, because what they do is, like you, they're another human being. They are together with you, showing you that all the stuff that you are feeling and going through and experiencing it's all going to be okay, because in the grand scheme of life, it's all going to work together for your good. The stuff that you're feeling now, it feels bad, it feels icky, but once you get on the other side of it and you see the lessons, although the pain and the irritation is something that you would not have wanted to go through, but the lessons and the blessings are going to make you so strong, they're going to make you so wise, and they're going to make you so powerful if you only say yes to those lessons. And so that is the purpose of prayer support. So again, if you are online and you're in need of prayer, go ahead and put your requests out there. And if you are in the house, take advantage of the prayer chaplain. Miss Sharon's like, I don't need nobody to put me to work now. Take advantage of the prayer chaplains, because for real, we hold each other in the light. Say this opening affirmation with me. We hold each other in the light. And so it is, and so it is. Good morning, good morning. It is good to see everybody. And before I get started in the message and go right into the big hoorah, if you will just look around the room, just take each other in. You know, when we come to church, we just, we get caught up in our own things and what's going on in our own head. And, I'm here for me. I need to hear what God has to say to me. I need to get some direction. I need to experience. I need to feel something. But the difference between church and spiritual community is that spiritual community really does reinforce the notion of other people. And as much as we pray and as much as we practice, we still need that other component, the human component. Because, again, you are an expression and an embodiment of the thing, the person, the process, the principle that we call God. So I might feel like God didn't answer my prayer, and then you walk in the door and you show up. This is why sacred text says, repeat this affirmation with me, then we'll move on to the message. Be careful how you entertain strangers, lest you entertain angels unaware. The answers to your prayer are spread across this room. This is why we need you to come to church. This is why we need you to come in fellowship. Because believe it or not, while you are praying and asking God for something, you are actually the answer to someone else's prayer. Many of us are waiting on God to do something for us, to tell us something, to give us some direction, but you are the very direction that you are looking for. Although, if we talk to our parents, they might have a different origin story for how we got here. But you were born and conceived in love. You are the answered prayer. So before you ask God for anything else, just remember that you are the answer. Yeah. So my invitation to you this morning is to open your mind to new ways of thinking. Open your heart to new possibilities. Say this talk title with me, possibility. And in honor of African American History Month this month, I've been pulling on themes from art and from literature. Last week, my inspiration was Stevie Wonder. And this week, my inspiration is Maya Angelou and the famous poem written by her in the mid-'60s, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. But there's a wonderful quote that's attributed to her, and it ties into everything that we're cooking on this morning. And the quote is, I know why the caged bird sings. It doesn't sing because it has the answer. It sings because it has a song. Say this with me. I know why the caged bird sings. It doesn't sing because it has an answer. It sings because it has a song. Possibility is so powerful. Possibility is so powerful that it transcends anything physical that looks contrary to the whole notion of what it's trying to get across. And this is the space that we work and practice to live from every day. When we talk about spiritual practice, all of our prayer and all of our meditation, Catherine Ponder, one of the matriarchs of this house, her ministry teaches that whenever you look into her work, you should begin with opening your mind to prosperity before you get into dynamic laws of prosperity. Because it takes an open mind really to get ready and create the space in the ground for possibility. Because our life can be so dynamic. Our life can have all these ups and downs, and we call them vicissitudes, these ins and outs, as water is trying to find its own level and water is trying to make its way to the ocean. We're sure about things on Monday, and then Tuesday we're not quite sure, and Wednesday we're not sure where we are, and then by Friday and Saturday we end up okay, and then we go right back through the cycle again, and that becomes life. But at some point, when you catch yourself and you pause, you wake up from the illusion of separation and you move into a space where you just say yes to the presence of God, the presence of good, and you say yes to life, and the ups and the downs stop bothering you. So there's always possibility. When people bring you bad news, you're still hopeful. You become that optimistic individual. The sarcasm and the pessimism goes away because you're old enough to know better. You're old enough to see the longevity in life. Anybody ever hung around an elder and tried to impress them with a good story? I told this a couple times here. I remember I used to be eager beaver. Grandma, I did this. That's nice, baby. Grandma, this bad thing happened. That's nice, too. I finally asked her one day, Why do you give the same response, whether good or bad? She'd be like, and she'd say, just keep living. Because through the process of living life, you learn that up, down, good, bad, it's all relative. The moral of the story of life is to get the lessons, to grow, to continue on the journey. And my grandmother told me, if I pat you on the back too much, you're going to stop living. And if I discourage you too much, you're going to stop living too. So I just give you the same answer over and over again to convince you to keep going so that you can see that you don't have to tell nobody nothing. You don't have to impress nobody. Your job is just to be you, to share your gift, to share your song. So I'll go back to the caged bird. The caged bird sings not because it has an answer, because it has a solution, not because it's trying to get out of the cage. It sings because it has a song. And whether it gets out of the cage or not, we'll get into that in a second, is irrelevant. Its responsibility is to share what is within it. It doesn't try to judge. It doesn't try to figure it out. It just tunes into the sound of the genuine within itself and let itself go. And you know, when we do that, your genuine self is possibility. Your truest self is hope. Your truest self is powerful beyond measure. Charles Fillmore, and I said this quote last week, he says that true power is found in the silence. You know, anything that shows up in the external world is a spent force of a dying vibration. So anything that shows up out here that's contrary to possibility, you guys, it's a spent force of a dying vibration. No, this looks terrible. There is no hope here. Well, good. Well, why do you say good? That's bad. No, because I can see it. Once I see it, it's on its way out. Things in life, the bad stuff, they're only as powerful as they are invisible. When they're invisible, there's nothing you can do. You can't do anything about a problem you can't see. But when you see the problem, rejoice, because then you can say it's on its way out. Now say this with me, possibility. Possibility always exists. And it's your truest self, and that's what allows you to speak truth in the face of facts. Do you know how hard it is to be a truth student in the world sometimes? The facts of life show up and they tell you, oh, you have this, you have that, you're sick, you're overweight, you're too this, you're too that. Not enough this, you failed, everybody's laughing, everybody know your business, they're talking about you. All of these facts show up, right? But sacred text tells us the just shall live by faith. Repeat this affirmation with me. The just shall live by faith. So my invitation to you on today as you listen to this message, and even as you leave this space and go about your life during the week, is to keep an open mind to possibility, to know that possibility is who you really are. That when you hear bad news and when you hear gloom and doom is always going to be here because we came here to serve and to give. We didn't walk into a paradise or a perfect place. We came here as perfected spiritual beings to share and distribute the love and the perfection and the possibility that we naturally are. So I don't need to take from the world. My job is to give. When bad news comes, it's like, oh, okay, cool. That's what the world does. And here's the thing. The bad news that you hear, it's a prayer request. So you really can't buy into it. Because if the world is talking gloom and doom and impossible circumstances, my question to the individual is always, how big is your God? How big is your God? How big is your faith? Is the impossible circumstance you're facing bigger than the God that you serve? Is it bigger than the divine being that you are? Is it bigger than your faith? Is the truth external to you more powerful than the truth that lives and breathes and animates your being? Anybody a heart specialist? But your heart beats fine every day. Anybody a gastro specialist, but your digestion works, circulatory system works. That's how powerful you are. You don't have to know a thing in order to make it work. That is the nature of yourself. And when you touch the timeless, when you touch the core of who you really are, when you really see yourself, you stop complaining. Impossibility becomes things you laugh about or joke about with friends, and that's where the truth students get around. They sit around the table and they start comparing stories about the things that they manifested. That's what that level is. It's not I'm disassociated with life. It's just I realize the joke. I get the punchline. I know why I came here. I came here forgetting, like the prodigal son, because we all come here forgetting. And then I remembered who I was, and then I remembered I never not knew who I was. I was always one with God. That's a part of the game. So say this with me, possibility. Possibility is who you really are. Every time you walk in a room, the energy, it changes. People can say, oh my God, there is no way. And then you walk in the door. Imagine what happens in a circumstance when life sends an awakened individual to it. It changes everything. And here's the thing. You don't have to say anything. All you got to do is just be. Just by being who you are. The power. Say this affirmation with me. The steps of a good person are ordered by spirit. You ever been just riding down the road one day and something tells you to take a left turn instead of a right turn? When you follow that intuition, sometimes you end up in places and spaces. You end up in checkout lines and grocery stores. You may not get the answered prayer that you want, again, because you are the answered prayer itself. Possibility is who you are. Another quick story before I get into the scriptural connection for this message. A couple weeks ago, I talked about Myrtle Fillmore's How to Let God Help You. And she said something very powerful, and it ties into my whole conversation about possibility this morning. Myrtle Fillmore said that it does not matter whether your prayers are answered or not. I'm going to pause there just to let that sink in. Now, this is Mother Myrtle now, who starts off in that first chapter of How to Let God Help You by saying, I would like to come in and have a visit with you. Let us put away all talk of everything that makes us forget that God is not all in all. Doesn't she sound like a grandmother? First couple lines of that first chapter. So Mother Myrtle says, the whole purpose of prayer is union with God. It don't matter whether your prayers are answered or not. Because once you realize who you are, answered prayer is the baby thing. It's the first step. You learn that, okay, you can have whatever you want. Okay, cool. Once you get that working, now go do something. Go help somebody else, because that's what it's about. Say this with me. The whole purpose of spiritual practice is to wake up and then go do something. So Myrtle says, it don't matter whether your prayers are answered or not. So when you discover that possibility is who you are, it's the realm that you live in. It's your natural being. You don't have to work to develop it. You don't have to fight. You don't have to fix it. In fact, you don't even need to know anything more or study anything more. You don't need to do it. But the spirit within you will pull things into your experience to give you tools as you move along the way. But once you wake up, then you got to go and do something. You got to do something with that possibility. You got to shine that light. Last week, we had this opening affirmation about being each other's keeper. Let's say that one together. I am my brother and sister's keeper. So by you showing up, having that positive attitude, by recognizing that your possibility, by recognizing that beyond the answered prayer, beyond the unanswered prayer, is the presence of God. I would rather go with God and not have my prayers answered than go and have my prayer answered and God not be with me. Because I know I'm going to get it anyway. That's why my kids love it every time I leave the house. Because they know if they come with me, they're going to get something. They already know. I got to eat at some point. Right? And when you think about it like that, you stop begging. And you stop demanding like God is some slot machine. Or God is some absentee father or mother that owes you child support. Your job, these metaphors are a trip, aren't they? Your job is to, I wonder what's going on in his life. Your job is to recognize your oneness with God. And once you got access to everything, you don't have to ask. I said ask. You don't have to ask for nothing. Right? Would you go into your mother's house and you probably would. Would you go into your sibling's house and ask her before you go into her refrigerator or his refrigerator? It's like you just go in there because you have access to everything. So the Comeback Center, possibility is who you really are. It's at the core of your being. It's your truest self. It is your essential nature. And once you wake up to that realization, then your job is to go and do something. You don't have to work hard at that something. Your job is just to sing your song. Sometimes we don't know what that song is until we let it out. Then we can identify. I remember being in my early 20s trying to figure out what was this vocational thing I kept feeling that woke me up 3 o'clock in the morning. And I would talk to other people and try to compare mine to theirs, and it wouldn't quite match up because I was a little bit different. I was a little bit weird. It didn't quite match. And then finally, somebody said, just throw it out there and see what sticks. And I did that, and I saw what stick, and I found my way. So you don't have to figure it out. When you know that you're a possibility, when you know that this is who you are, when you know that you're a true student, when you know that you are one with God, and that all things are possible to him or she or he that believes, you just simply start living your life. You wake up, and then Ken Wilber says you grow up. You grow up by demonstrating the consciousness and the oneness that you really are by sharing it with people in the world. You just get out there and you start living life. How can I help? How can I be of service? Ram Dass, everybody knows Ram Dass? Ram Dass realized towards the end of his life, some say that he actually became the guru that he was working so hard and pretending to be. Ram Dass's name means servant of Ram because he realized that once he woke up, that sacred service was really the highest form of spiritual practice that he could do on the earth. He started asking himself powerful questions like, how can I help someone? How can I be a light to people who are feeling like they're in darkness? How can I encourage other people? And so Ram Dass, even being in a wheelchair and having the disability and having the stroke, was still a brilliant, beautiful ball of light and love. Looking at the nature of his physical body, you would say he's in impossible circumstances, but on his way out as he transitioned and became the luminous being from the other side that he is now, he discovered that he was infinite possibility. He was one with God. He was one with his teacher. He was one with all beings. And his job was just to make people happy by reminding them that that's who they are too. And that right there, it's so beautiful because it summarizes the core of all unity teachings. In fact, repeat unity principle number 2 with me. Human beings are inherently good because there's a spark of divinity within them. So I don't need to tell you about your problems. I don't need to get on you for things you're not doing. I don't need to fuss at you for mistakes you made. I probably made more than you anyway. My job is to remind you of that light that's in you. To remind you of that spark that's in you, man. To remind you of that power and that love that's within you. And that thing that is within you will carry you through. It will carry you through times of understanding. It will carry you through during times of your life where you feel like you're in darkness and you're confused and not sure what to do. And that is your truest, deepest self. Last story, and then I'll wrap up. The scriptural or mythological connection to the story that I want to point your attention to is found in the book of Genesis, and it goes from Genesis to Exodus, the whole story itself as the characters are navigating one circumstance to the next. And the story is the children of Israel leaving Egypt, being led by Moses, crossing the Red Sea. Historically, it's not the Red Sea. Historically, the actual name of the sea is the Reed Sea. It's the Sea of Reeds. But I want to point your attention to something, and this is something that I talk about maybe once or twice a year, and it's really, really, really powerful. Moses, talking about possibility, gets to the edge of the water. He's leading the people out of danger, and they're getting ready to cross over the Red Sea or the Sea of Reeds and move into a promised land, an idea, a dream that they had. And then the people are standing there, they're not sure what to do. They see the water and they see the army behind them. Moses prays to God. And this is what's said in the sacred text. God says, "Why are you praying to me? What's in your hand?" And that is powerful because it reminds us again that when you are possibility and you are one with God, you stop asking and God starts asking you. So instead of asking God, "What do I do?" God says, "What you want to do? What you want to do? What you going to do?" God starts, that's a whole nother level of prayer and connection and oneness with God. Say this with me, possibility. In infinite possibilities, you stop praying to God and you realize that you are one with God. So you get off your knees and get on your feet. And you start being God. Self-deification comes in. Uh-oh. go here, go to your heresy. Say this with me. If I be lifted up. Uh-oh, let's pause right there. Just let that settle. You can't have faith in God without faith in yourself. You got to lift you up. I dare to say, you better start praying to you. That's a whole other conversation that I'll clean up offline. Speak to yourself. Lift yourself up. Say positive affirmations to yourself. Call yourself beautiful. Call yourself gorgeous. Call yourself strong. Like Reverend Ike says, make I am your first name and your affirmation your last name. Give yourself the devotion that you give to other people and these children. Give it back to yourself. And when you do that, impossibility becomes possibility. So God tells Moses, what's in your hand? And Moses is like a staff, and he says, lift it up. Moses lifted up his staff, and then the waters part, and the children of Israel make it across the Red Sea on dry land. That's the mystical part of the teaching. One final point. The reason why the waters parted was because a storm dropped when Moses lifted up his hand. So a whirlwind hit the water, poof, poof, and the waters parted on both sides. Sometimes the bad things that kick up in our life aren't God punishing us. It's God clearing stuff out of the way so we can manifest and be possibility and do the things that God has called us to do. So again, all things are working out for your good as I bring this to a close. Even the bad stuff.
Yes.
You might feel the wind, but it ain't for you. Just let it happen. Let it break down. Let all the drama and all the bad things that you think are bad, let it all happen because it all becomes seed for a new future. God sometimes has to clear stuff out of the way so you can move through. It's all a part of the divine plan. So you are infinite possibility. It's who you really are. When you tune into that sound and let that song be the guiding song of your life and the guiding song of your heart, amazing things can happen. My invitation to you today is just to let it happen. Let it all happen. Know that it's all working out for your good. Know that you're going to be okay, that you are loved beyond measure. And that right there is what you need to hear and remind yourself of every single day. Take a deep breath. Let this information rest, rule, and abide in your spirit. Thank you for listening. Peace and blessings. For those of you that do give online, remember to log on to unitybham.org and click on giving. Our ushers are making their way forward for those that do give in person. And I believe we have a special selection coming from the musical team. I want to turn this portion of the service over to the musical team. Take it away.
Down up my eyes to see I'm right where you are. I love like a rebel in all that I do. 'Cause there's not a heaven if there's not a you.
There's not a you. That's beautiful. You distracted me, man. It's an amazing song. Okay, offering, sorry. If you will, point your hands in the direction of the offering. Let's bless this offering. Say this with me. Divine love in us blesses and multiplies all that we give. And so it is. Amen. Put your hands together for yourself.
Doing Let There Be Peace? Okay. All right. Everyone can stand for Let There Be Peace.
I'd like to also once again invite you to come and hear this small group of people sing their song and feel their song for peace in Ukraine and their hope. And I'd like to invite you to all be here at 6 o'clock to welcome them and to welcome everyone who we bring as a friend, as a gift to them that we believe that peace is the cause, because it truly is.
What's the date again?
Next Sunday night at 6 o'clock for all of us. Welcome these people. We need to welcome people into this space. If we want to grow, that's how we do it.
Come on.
So, thank you.
It's good.
So let's sing this prayer today.
Protection. The light of God surrounds us.
I am the light of God.
The love of God enfolds us.
I am the love of God.
The power of God protects us.
I am the power of God.
The presence of God watches over us.
I am the presence of God.
Wherever we are, God is.
Wherever I am, God is, and always will.